Chapter 4 of Emma Ballard in the Crystal Book, Flo the Healer. "How is she?" Fry asked, finding the room. "Is she coming around?" Flo placed her hand on his chest. "You are out of breath. I need for you to bring me my crystals. 101, 105, 107, and 300 from the greenhouse. Be right back," he said with renewed energy shared by Flo's touch. "How can I help?" Robert asked. "You can bring me some hand towels and water to clean her wounds." Flo began humming a calming Sirens of the Sea lullaby. Healing frequencies of ancient times filled the room. She took a concentrated breath to center herself. She had to be in perfect balance when her crystals arrived. Robert hesitated upon his return, allowing Flo to finish her centering. The water in the bowl swished around from the energy she emanated. He tried to hold it steady, but water droplets hitting the floor broke Flo's concentration. She gratefully grabbed the bowl. Emma moaned and her eyes fluttered open. "Where am I?" Robert placed her hand gently in his. "You're home. You had a fall, and you must lie still." "Primbo," Emma uttered weakly. "He's fine. Lie still," Robert whispered. Flo carefully swabbed dirt from Emma's face. Fry returned, balancing a bamboo tray of the requested crystals. Flo's gaze reflected her gratitude for his haste. "Thank you. Now, I need time with her, and you two need time with Gabe. He must feel awful. It's best if he waits to see her in the morning. He wasn't supposed to see the crystal book being used until his birthday. He must be confused. I spoke with him about that while he watched you. He knows he is not supposed to speak of it. It's just something he has to deal with until his birthday," Robert assured her. "He's a big boy, and he's used to trusting what we ask of him." They left Flo to work her magic. Inhaling a calming breath, she held tetragonal crystal 105 directly on Emma's forehead. "Now rest, Emma, rest." Emma's eyelids fluttered half open and then closed. The crystal glowed green to orange. "Vitalia gives you the spell of rest and will heal your concussion." She left Vitalia lying in place and took crystal 101 from its pot. She spoke softly, "Sahura, work your magic," and held Sahura over Emma's ankle. The clear prism crystal measured 5 inches long. The moment it touched Emma, it glowed so brightly the light pink room appeared red. She left Sahura setting on the fractured ankle and chose 107 next. "Now, Datulia, you will work perfectly for the minor injuries." A crystal of an X-prism shape, 7 inches long, glowed a light blue to dark blue, and the scrapes disappeared, leaving perfect skin in their place. Flo returned Datulia to its pot, and the strange soil closed around it, holding it upright. And last but not least, 300, with the name 300. "Please, 300, make it so Emma stays happy during this trying time." 10 inches in length, the spear crystal glowed a gold luminescence, which beamed down onto Emma's face and heart and mind. "There, now, thank you," Flo said, replacing the precious crystal to its pot. She removed Vitalia, which had turned clear. Sahura was still glowing on Emma's ankle, not yet finished with its repair. It would take hours to repair the fracture. She flopped back into the chair exhausted and dozed off. Meanwhile, Merlin followed Robert and Fry to the infirmary. They found Gabe hugging a baby deer. "It's hungry," he sighed, his eyes all red and puffy. He sniffled and nuzzled his head against the little fawn. "I wish this day had never happened." "Oh, I do too, but we cannot change it. We can't wish it away." What has happened has happened. It was an accident, Robert said gently. Fry knelt beside Gabe. That's right. It's not your fault. Come on now. Let's feed all these animals who need us. All these little animals who need us. This baby bat. Hear him squeaking? He's ready for his milk. Fry handed Gabe a little bat swaddled in soft cloth. Gabe fed the baby with a tiny eyedropper full of special formula. It's so cute. Fry fed the fawn with its bottle, and Robert fed a baby fox with an injured leg. See, we all have no time to feel sorry. We have to be strong to take care of all those who need us, like these little ones. Flo helped heal some of these animals with her crystals, and she will help heal Emma. Take these piglets. Flo healed their broken legs after wild dogs attacked them. The poor mother fought so hard to protect her little ones. These are the only two that survived. They've been through tremendous trauma, Robert explained. Gabe's eyes filled with sadness. Trauma like us? No, Fry disagreed. Not quite. We didn't lose Emma or Primbo. Robert held the baby fox close. That's right. His thoughts turned to the significant loss their family did experience, the loss of Emma's twin. Someday Gabe would have to be told. Oh, Fry sighed. I think we just had a little accident. This baby just wet on my overalls. Gabe shook his head. It's just a little spot, Fry. Glad you weren't holding a full-grown bunny. Ooh, Gabe held out the baby bat. I think it just pooped. Smells bad. Here, Grandpa. Just part of taking care of all these little rescues. You can help me clean 'em up, Robert chuckled. They fed the rest of the animals, cleaned them, their pens, and tended to their wounds. Bottles and bowls were washed and prepped for the morning, and a gurgle of hunger prompted Gabe to rub his own tummy. Robert heard the rumbling of his own tummy as well, and suggested they feed themselves. They headed for the lodge. The grandiose kitchen, rustic and always stocked with an array of healthy food, had been designed to be warm and inviting. Gabe sat at the sturdy pine table, his head down. He wished again this day had not happened. He and Emma should be out swimming or with the ponies or trick riding. Fry handed him a sunflower butter and plum jelly sandwich. Come on, we'll all feel better with food in our stomachs. With no conversation while they ate, Fry, finishing first, broke the silence. Suddenly seeming impatient, he rose to wash his glass and plate. I must get back to Flo. I feel she needs me. Gabe jumped up, gulping his last bite. I'll go with you. No, interrupted Robert. You and I will stay here. But I want to see Emma, please. I want to see her tonight. No, it's best you wait till the morning. Flo's orders, he insisted. Gabe knew that a Flo order better be obeyed, for she was not one to be trifled with. Sitting back in his chair, he stared up at the ceiling, fighting back more tears. Robert sensed the sadness. I have some sanding for you to do on one of my carvings for Emma's present. That will be a great help to me. Would you help me, please? Gabe simply nodded. Trying to hide his disappointment, he picked up his plate and glass to wash. Fry headed off in haste. The 4 wild ponies lying in the grassy field glistened in the setting sunlight. They sure seem unicorny to me, he mused. His keen sense of smell picked up an aroma of honeysuckle and wisteria from the arbor, and the scent of passion flower from the gazebo overwhelmed the air. He nurtured with nature, but any hint of a smile faded, opening the door to Emma's room. Fry, come in, Flo whispered. Fry took her hand. Why, you're exhausted. Let me get you a power crystal. Beastie sat on the kitchen counter, staring at him with her ocean blue eyes. She stretched up to rub his chin. Placing her paws on his shoulder, she made a purring meow several times. Well, Beastie, my dragon-eyed one, you haven't had your bowl of milk. Here, let me get it for you. He then grabbed the needed crystal and ran half back to Flo. Helping close her fingers around it, the crystal activated, sending its colors of the light spectrum spattering around the room in its refractions. Flo's skin pulsated the colors as she re-energized. I am rejuvenated. Actually, I didn't have the strength to get it myself. Fry chuckled. I felt I was inside a rainbow there. Beastie ran in and hopped into Flo's lap. Oh, I needed a fur fix. Sweet kitty, you always know when I need you. Beastie meowed and stared with interest at Emma, and ever so lightly she sprang over to her and began to knead the covers, purring loudly. Flo examined Emma's foot. Her ankles should be healed now. See, Sahura has just gone clear. The crystals and I have done all we can. Would you be so kind to sit here with her while I take these back and feed them? They are exhausted too. Flo patted Fry's shoulder and kissed his cheek. She needs all our positive energy, she whispered. Positive Beastie. She fairly floated out to her greenhouse, and with the healers fed, she went straight to the library. The massive doors, ornately covered with the Ballard crest, were always kept closed. The crest consisted of 2 crowned dolphins facing each other. Between them hovered a perfect crystal within an orb. Flo slid the doors opening, noticing the claws mark from Merlin. Oh well, those will fade with time. Hopefully the memory of the accident as well. The crystal book sensed her arrival with a glow. Flo opened it where it lay on the massive desk and requested page 369. A sphere rose, and from within the image of a wizardly octopus with waving tentacles appeared. Pathos, what are we going to do? Flo asked. A deep voice spoke through the sphere. This last portal dream Emma had was extreme. I barely had the strength to pull her from the black hole. See, I lost the tip of one of my arms again. Now she's even more vulnerable in her injured state. We have to get her to sea camp where she will be safe. Flo nodded in agreement. Yes, Pathos, can't we break the rules just once? Why does she have to be exactly 10? She's just days away. Pathos waved his many tentacles. Those have been the rules for eons. She simply won't transition. I cannot change that, nor can I change the fact that I could not save them both that dreadful night. I had to witness Ella slip away, a tiny unborn baby slip away. I had to live with the knowledge I lost her. I believe the black hole is trying harder than ever to take Emma before she gets to here to sea camp. It knows it cannot touch her here. We will reveal everything to Emma soon. Maybe, oh confound it, we will know when it is time. Flo stepped back as Pathos' voice rose. Careful, Pathos. You will pop the sphere before we are finished talking. She gave the sphere a stabilizing touch. Thank you. Your calming energy is contagious. I can feel it right through the sphere. Now go to her. We will talk soon again, Pathos said in an agitated voice. With a wave of his tentacle, the sphere popped, and Flo found Fry had dozed off. Quietly, she opened the book to page 777. She let it hover the crystal book over Emma's body, revealing everything 100% except for her spinal injury. Fry had awakened, and even though he looked at the book as she read, he couldn't see anything. He noticed Flo's frown. What is it? Don't you worry yourself. I must take this back. Please stay here. Of course. He leaned back in the chair, watching the little girl he had known since her birth. He helped deliver her. Her mother suddenly went into labor while picking flowers in the garden. He had arrived just in time to catch the infant that insisted on being born by the lily pond. He had bonded with Emma. Visions of her running and playing in his garden overwhelmed him. Flo returned to see Fry wiping his eyes. She hugged his stout shoulders and insisted he get some sleep. He did not ask her again why she shook her head, for he knew if a special healing crystal could not be found, Emma would never walk again. He left reluctantly, feeling the house in a sad state itself. His sensitive ears picked up a moaning. He patted the wall by his door. He loved the ancient Cobb Manor and knew it seethed with a life and feeling of its own. Fry had been brought to Ballard Manor from an orphanage in a city far away. He remembered how the Ballards came to visit. They found him sitting with Flo by the magical fountain of dolphins in the courtyard, their special place to get away. The Ballards had the fountain especially built for the orphanage. They knew it had chosen two little ones. They knew the sign of magic and adopted them as their own. It all seemed so long ago. He drifted off into dream world while taking himself down memory lane. Ballard Island wrapped itself in the evening twilight, its peacefulness broken. Robert lay awake in his cottage, dreading the morrow. He could not sleep much. Merlin perched on the cupboard nearby, feeling the pain of it all. He chose to be close to Robert for the night. Robert mumbled, "Will Emma even make it through the night? We must get her off to sea camp where she will be safe. Drat the rules." Chapter 5 is next. Parents return.